All right, I'm Gary Hall, Sr. at the Race Club. I am honored to have with us one of the elite athletes of swimming. Great man, graduate from Stanford, 34 years of age, still competing at the top of his game, Mr. Sabir Muhammad. Sabir swam with the Race Club in 2004 and 2005, I think, and trained with us for many years under Mike Bottom. He's probably more renowned for having speared an angelfish the first time he went out spear fishing. There are a lot of people still talking about that here.
It was a record size on that angelfish.
It was a big angelfish.
It's a big one.
When they're that big, they're hard to miss, I have to tell you. They don't swim very fast.
I had a malfunction with my spear that day.
That's a story we hear too, but anyway, it's good to have Sabir back.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dr. Hall.
Good to have you, man.
Yeah.
20.8 last year, short course meters on how many meters a day?
You know, Doc, I don't like to think of training in terms of meters per day anymore. That's kind of, I don't count.
Passé?
I don't count the meters.
Quality meters.
Yeah, I think of it in terms of, was it enough?
Well, it must have been enough. 20.8 is pretty fast. Lifetime best, right?
Lifetime best, Doc.
American record?
American record, though not recognized by America at the time because of the rest of the world was still on the bodysuits.
Oh, I see.
And America had turned it off in terms of record recognition.
Oh.
So.
Well, it's pretty fast no matter how you look at it. Lifetime best.
Lifetime best.
And it wasn't on, because I got to hear you speak a couple of times about your training. It was on it was an intense program. You did 3 or 4 times a week, right? Some strength training behind it. But a great athlete who showed that you can stay at the top of your game without having to spend 8 or 10 hours at the pool every day.
Absolutely.
And where are you now? You're still swimming?
Still swimming, Doc.
And what are your plans? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? What do you want to do?
That's a great question. Doc, I guess I'm just, I'm up for a race. I kind of think of it as from the framework of, on any given Sunday, I could be approached by, I don't know, your son, Gary Hall Jr., or some other highly competitive athlete who will challenge me to just kind of a backyard race. And on that day, I want to be ready. So I don't think of it in terms of, what's my next big meet, but rather, what's my next local showdown. I'm more of a backyard swimmer now. You're familiar with like basketball on like backyard basketball courts?
Well, the whole thing of racing is I want to beat you to that end.
That's exactly right.
That's what it's all about. So I get that. What I like about you is the fact that you always stay in shape. You're only a few weeks or days away from being ready to compete, and that's pretty cool that you never let yourself go. And that's a lifestyle choice that you make, and I think that's something really to be admired. I mean, a lot of athletes, they quit and they never want to see a pool again. They don't even go to exercise.
Yeah.
You don't subscribe to that philosophy.
Absolutely. When I was 16 years old, I had a very good doctor growing up. His name's Dr. William Craven. He's a physician in Atlanta, and he told me at a very young age, he said to me, you'll never be able to stop working out. And I was like, I don't understand what you mean, Doc. Well, he said, you're an athlete, and that means you're going to have to continue to work out for the rest of your life. Not 7 days a week, but you're going to have to work out for the rest of your life. He talked to me about how my heart was a certain size, and if it didn't remain strong, then it wouldn't pump as much blood. I was 16 years old at the time, but it stuck with me. When a doctor tells you that you need to do something, you do it usually, and I feel like I'm just being compliant to my doctor.
You're a great example for a lot of people that are, reaching the end of their career, or at least where they think they're going to retire and go on to something. But you don't have to really retire in the sense of that word. You can keep staying fit and stay very, very competitive. What about masters swimming? Will you do that, or have you thought about that? Or?
Absolutely. I love I love to get out there and race with the codgers, is what I refer to them, us as now, the codgers. You know, the Masters community is amazing because, you know, in one lane you may have a 75-year-old man who won't even dive off the blocks, but he's there to race. And the lane next to him could be a 26-year-old kid. I think it really just kind of shows the great diversity of the sport of swimming. And I'm speaking in terms of age diversity here. You know, there's no limit on competing and having a good time, and that's what Masters swimming is all about. So I'm a big fan of it.
You know, when I go to a Masters meet now, I have 10 people that come up to me and they say, I remember when Sabir and Gary Jr. and all the race club went to Indianapolis and competed. He said that was the greatest thing for Masters swimming in the history of our sport. Tell us about that day and what that meant to you when you went to Indianapolis and swam with the Masters.
Well, you know, it was, you know, it wasn't just the day, because Gary, Aaron, Charla, a number of other of us, we started talking about swimming at Masters Nationals a few months before we went. And it was something we talked about on the pool deck. We talked about how we're gonna, you know, have these robes, because master swimming it's a more of a mature crowd, so it's okay to wear plaid on the pool deck. You know, we had fun with it, and we came in there with this great body of work that we'd already put in that season, and we wanted to show the master swimming world and the swimming world at large that fast swimming isn't confined to any sport, you know, any type of conference or a division of swimming. You can have fast swimming and master swimming, and I think you saw that this past year when you had Cullen Jones and Nick Brunelli competing at Masters Nationals.
I think we're seeing more world-class swimmers now go to Masters meet and realize that, you know, hey, swimming's a sport for life. And I may graduate from the World Championships or the Olympics or the Pan Am Games, but I'm going to keep going to the Masters and keep strutting my stuff.
That's exactly right. You know, you know, you're very famous in the master swimming world. You know, how many records have you set yourself, Dr. Hall?
Not too many.
Yeah, I mean,
there are many more that are way better than that.
The remarkable thing about master swimming to me is the competitiveness of the master swimmers. I mean, it's not like you go to master swimming and people aren't as competitive. I would say they're more competitive in master swimming. They're more focused on their times and who they're going to beat. So I really like that aspect of it.
What about outside of swimming? Where is Sabir looking? What are you doing? What do you want to do with your life besides swimming? There's got to be more to it than that.
Well, you know, in addition to being a father and a husband, I've got 2 great boys and a wonderful wife. I'm really focused on expressing my other interests outside of swimming. So I've taken some time here in the past couple weeks, couple months really, to find out what else I really am. You know, you spend so many hours of your time, you know, face down, back and forth in the pool. That becomes your only identity. And I think, you know, what we have to do as athletes is really explore what else drives us. And I don't know if you've read the work of Dr. Solomon. He's a board-certified psychotherapist who does a lot of work on elite athletes.
Not only have I respect, I got a chance to interview him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, incredible.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Well, basically, you know, the theories that he ascribes to are that athletes need an identity outside of sports.
Yeah.
And I'm really kind of putting my feet in the water in technology. I'm really impressed with what technology's done with our society, and I think there are many great things that can come from technology. So I'm exploring that, and I have a blog now where I talk about technology as well as swimming and life stuff. It's called the Life Aquatech, TECH.com.
Well, Sabir, great swimmer, great spear fisherman, great human being, and I'm sure you'll be great in technology. It's been a pleasure to have you. It's great to have you here in the Keys, and we hope to have you back many times.
Thank you, Doc.